Hey, I'm Jess Regan with Original Abstract, and I've partnered with A+ Mortgage and Keller Williams to put together a mock settlement so that you can know how and what to prepare for your first settlement. So let's go see it.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy with Original Abstract, and you must be the buyer?
Yes, I'm Angie McMichael.
Nice to meet you. And are you the seller then?
Yes, I am. I'm Ben Giles.
Nice to meet you both. And you must be representing Angie today.
I am. I'm the buyer's agent. I'm Adrian.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Jeremy McMichael, president of A+ Mortgage Solutions. I helped Angie with her mortgage.
And I'm Caleb. I'm the listing agent for Ben.
Wonderful. Well, I'd like to get started with driver's licenses, please, because we do need to make copies of those. Thank you so much. Thank you. Perfect. I'd like to go through the settlement sheet first. I find that it explains all of the details for both sides of the transaction the smoothest and cleanest. So I'm going to go through your side first, and then I'll go through your side. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Okay. After we go through the settlement sheet, which addresses everyone's numbers, we will go through individual closing disclosures, and then you'll get a little bit of a break and a reprieve while Angie gets a hand cramp, essentially. So let me just run through your numbers with you. The buyer side is the right side and the seller side is on the left side. This is a list of all of the debits and all of the credits involved in your transaction. This will match up with your closing disclosure that Jeremy provided to you ahead of time. Okay. And at the end, you will see the difference between your debits and your credits is what you needed to bring today to closing. Okay, perfect. There is your sales price of $320, deposit of $10,000, loan amount $304, and seller help. Okay. These items are items that Ben paid in advance, and you are basically reimbursing him for the period of time in which you'll own the property, but he paid the taxes. Okay. So at this time of the year, school taxes are paid through next June. Mm-hmm. So you're reimbursing him from today through next June. Okay. HOA dues for the property are actually paid through next April, so you see a credit to him for those. Okay. And county and town taxes are paid on a calendar basis, so you see the credit to him for the rest of this year. Okay. Here are your charges to the lender that were already discussed. One thing I like to point out is your interest is through the end of this month. Okay. First payment won't be until September 1st. Oh, okay. Okay. Great. Here you have your appraisal already paid outside of closing, so it's just noted here for you. Mm-hmm. Credit report, flood certification fee. Mm-hmm. These are your escrows. So it says impounds. Impounds are the same as escrows. Okay. That's the money the lender is collecting from you today to set up your escrow account. That escrow account will be paying your future taxes on the property and your future homeowner's insurance on the property. Okay. Those bills come out twice a year in February-March timeframe, and then again in the summertime will be your school tax bill. So if you combine these numbers together in this section, that would give you your beginning balance in your escrow account with the lender after today. Okay. These are your title charges. This is your title insurance protecting you for the purchase price. Mm-hmm. This is the title insurance protecting the lender for the amount that they lent you. Okay. A closing protection letter, which is required by all lenders. Our overnight fee to get the package back to the lender after closing. Our processing fee. These are endorsements, which are also required on the lender title insurance policy. And the wire fee, since they wired us your money in today. Okay. Recording of your deed and your mortgage at the county, mm-hmm. Transfer taxes, which you'll see are split 50-50, mm-hmm. 1% on each side as agreed to in the contract. Top of the next page has your brokerage fee to Keller Williams, my notary fees, any additional charges such as HOA fees. This is your capital contribution as well as your homeowner's insurance. Okay. So if you take your debits and your credits, there is your difference, $23,181.68, which would be the amount due from you today. Okay. Then back to your side. Yours is much easier, much simpler than hers. All right. So here you have your sales price, credit for the deposit, credit for the loan amount, and this is the seller help you provided. Okay. These are those items that I was just speaking to her about that you paid in advance. taxes, homeowners dues, and county and town taxes. There is your commission that you agreed to pay to both agencies. Transfer tax, again, 1% on each side. Your payoff, your brokerage fee to Keller Williams, your deed prep, any outstanding utilities to the township, my notary, tax certification that we obtained, and any outstanding current taxes. All of your debits and all of your credits reveals what I'll be handing to you today.
Okay.
Any questions on any of that so far?
I'm okay.
Okay. I am going to have you sign then. If you'll just sign as buyer up there. And we'll have Ben sign as seller down there. And then we can put this aside so I can make a copy of that with your driver's licenses. Here's your closing disclosure, Angie. This has at the bottom the exact amount we just went over. Okay. This is the document that Jeremy provides to you ahead of time. Okay. This does tell you on this first page all of your information about your loan. Okay. So it is fixed. It is for 30 years, a conventional loan, what you borrowed, your interest rate, principal and interest. First 13 years, you do have mortgage insurance and escrows. That will be your payment as of September 1. Okay. After the 13 years, your mortgage insurance is going to automatically disappear, and that will be your new payment. Okay. Okay. The rest of the pages that are here, I hate to bore you and go over them again. They are exactly what was listed on the settlement sheet. This page lists what they thought you might need and what you needed. Okay. So they give you your loan estimate and your final amount. These are all the prorations we talked about, the credit from the seller, your deposit. Again, very repetitive. Okay. And you're going to hear me say the same thing over and over again throughout the package, unfortunately. Okay. This is your escrowed costs for the year if you were interested in what they run, what your non-escrowed costs are. So that would be your HOA dues. Okay. What you put into your escrow account today out of the funds, and what you pay in every month. Okay. You do have the right to prepay this at any time. There's no penalty. And this gives you all of those numbers nobody really likes to look at in terms of what you will pay back over the life of the loan. This is all of us involved in your transaction in case you ever need to reach out to anybody involved. And if you wouldn't mind signing down there for me. Then yours is a closing disclosure for just the seller. This, again, lists all the numbers that we already ran through. This is the amount going to you today. And all of these pages are, again, repetitive to the settlement sheet that we went over. Okay. You're welcome to look through it, but they are repeating the same thing, or they would not be the same number at the bottom, obviously. Right. So I will have you sign, Ben, your last page here at the back. Perfect. The next document I want to have you sign, Ben, is the deed. This transfers the property from you to her. It does list the sale price today, as well as the legal description of the property, where you took possession to the property in 2000, any restrictions that are on the property, and that you are conveying it. Okay. If you wouldn't mind signing right there for me. And Angie, I will get you a copy of this deed unrecorded, but you will get the original recorded deed from us. Okay. Normally takes us about 6 to 8 weeks to get it in the mail to you with your owner's title insurance policy. Okay. Okay. This is your note. This is your promise to pay the money back to the bank. We can't get away from this today. You borrowed the money, so this is your commitment to pay it back. It does reiterate how much you borrowed and who you borrowed it from. Okay. How much your interest rate is, when your first payment will be, when your last payment will be, where the lender is located for payments, and your principal and interest. Okay. The note will remain constant for the whole 30 years. Okay. So the note does not include your escrows. Okay. In case you ever were to get rid of your escrows or your escrows were to change, the note will remain constant for the whole 30 years. Okay. This is not your payment because your payment will include the escrows. Right, okay. You do have the right to prepay it, as I said. This does talk about late fees.
Okay.
Your payments are always due the first of the month, but you have till the 15th to get them in without penalty or late charges. This talks about your obligation to pay and what would happen if you defaulted.
Okay.
I will have you sign on the last page for me.
Perfect.
This document is your mortgage. So this is a nice big fat one. This one is a legal document. This is the document that we will record in the land records at the county. After I record the deed, putting the property from Ben to you, I will record the mortgage, putting the lien on the property.
Okay.
Now I will tell you, this is public record. So the deed and the mortgage copies can be pulled by anybody.
Okay.
This is your basic promise to pay that gets recorded. Your note does not get recorded.
Okay.
This does not have your interest rate in it anywhere. So if someone were to tell you that they could beat your interest rate that you have, that would be incorrect. They do not know what your interest rate is. That's on the note and privileged.
Okay.
This is a very long document, and I normally try to sum it up one way. If you pay, you stay. If you don't, you won't.
Fair enough.
It's the easiest way for me to put it. You're welcome to read through it if you'd like to. If you don't want to do that, you're welcome to jump to the last page. It does talk about, obviously, default.
Okay.
You will make sure that the taxes are paid. Any homeowner's dues, you will make sure that they are paid. The lender certainly doesn't want liens for any of those. If you're comfortable with this and you don't have any questions, I will have you sign the last page for me. Right there.
So I'm going to do a quick timeout. That was a lot of information to go over. I wanted to just say there are a million documents that happen after this, but we're going to shorten it and have Jeremy McMichael from A+ Mortgage go over just the summary of the documents that are signed next. The documents that Amy went over are the important ones and the ones your client really want to understand well. Having a good lender to talk to prior to heading to settlement is going to help them immensely, understanding the documents that they sign at closing. So right now we'll have Jeremy explain the documents that would be signed next in a normal settlement.
What Amy just went over with you are the terms of your loan and the documents to perfect the lien that the mortgage lender has an interest in your property for. The remainder of the documents are documents you signed with me when we first met for your mortgage application. The lender just finalizes them. They update your income and your assets, and they update the forms so that they can be used again in case the file is pulled for audit. Also, you'll be getting documentation in the mail. You'll get your first billing statement probably about 2 or 3 weeks prior to your first payment. At that time, you should also have received an email from the lender. You'll be able to set up credentials, access your loan online, and you can make payments there too. Once that deed and mortgage are recorded, as Amy said, anyone can see what's there. They're going to know you bought a house. They're going to know you have a mortgage against it. You're going to get inundated with junk mail, text messages, phone calls. All that's possible. Most of it is strictly junk. They're trying to lure you in to buy services you don't necessarily need or could get cheaper somewhere else, or they're really trying to scam you out of money. One in particular is Amy's company, Original Abstract, will send you a copy of your deed as soon as it's recorded. However, people will go to the courthouse and send you a document that says, pay us this amount of money for a certified copy of your deed. You don't need to do that. You're going to get the original from Original Abstract.
I'm chiming back in with a couple things that I know that you're wondering. What do we do as a buyer's agent and a seller's agent to prepare for settlement and at the table? It is our happy day. It's the day that we get our commission check and the day that our buyer and seller are finally done with the transaction. But what do we need to do to get there? I'm going to have Adrian and Caleb share with you a little bit about what that preparation looks like.
So in order to get us to the closing table, we recommend working with a transaction coordination service. A TC is probably your best asset in getting a deal to the table efficiently and with the least amount of headaches. We definitely recommend Precision TC, who is one of our preferred vendors. You can reach out to Chris or Tammy and they'll be happy to assist you in your closing. In order to get Angie to the closing table today, some things that we want to make sure that she knows is that she must have a valid, non-expired photo ID that she brings with her, and the name on that must match the name that is on the documents that she's going to be signing today. We're also going to facilitate a pre-settlement walkthrough where we'll walk through the home, we'll make notes of any issues that we might see, make sure the home is free of all items, broom swept, and is in acceptable condition. We also, as the buyer's agent, we want to make sure we grab that lockbox that's on the property that has the key inside of it. We want to bring that to closing with us to make sure that all keys are present at the settlement table. And then we just want to make sure that she knows exactly how much she's supposed to bring in the proper fund format, certified check, whatever's required at the settlement table. A lot of agents ask if it's necessary to do a closing gift. And there are mixed opinions on this. It is optional. It is never required. If you are considering doing any sort of a closing gift, you want to make sure it's something that's going to have your branded information on, something that's going to be useful. But please understand that this is not something that is ever required at the settlement table.
So as the seller's agent, I'm here to represent the seller and make sure that their transaction goes smoothly. Oftentimes, the seller may choose to do a pre-signing if they have any issues where they cannot show up to the settlement date, or they may authorize me to sign on their behalf at the closing settlement. If you have any items such as garage door openers or extra keys that were not in a lockbox, please make sure to give those to your agent or have them at the settlement table so we can pass them along to the buyer.
So back to the transaction. Now that we've gone through all of the paperwork, you've signed the deed. I would normally collect the funds from you, but you've already wired them to us. So thank you very much for calling into the office and verbally verifying those prior to sending them to us. That's a very important step. Ben, I get to also hand you your funds. Awesome. So that is your money for today. Please verify that it matches the bottom line on the settlement sheet so that you know you are walking away with the exact amount that you are supposed to.
Perfect. That's good. Can we talk a second about mortgage pay down and how all of that works?
Sure. So Caleb had you sign a payoff authorization form for us.
Okay.
You may recall doing that. We take the liberty of ordering the payoff from your mortgage company, and we have a payoff statement in our file. We will either wire that or overnight that check to your payoff provider, your payoff mortgage company, or various ones. Once they receive that, they will close out your account, and any funds that are in the escrow account with them will be refunded to you. Okay. Every lender's a little different, so sometimes it's quick and sometimes it takes a few weeks, but that will come back to you.
All right, cool. What about utilities?
Any utilities on the property that are lienable. So if it's a utility where the water, the sewer, the trash, any of those items can become lienable, we have already contacted that township or that provider for those figures. We've established that and addressed it on the settlement sheet. So if you happen to get any final bills for those items, you're not going to want to pay them because I've already collected them. Okay. If it's not lienable, such as electric or natural gas, those two items are normally not lienable. Both of you will want to contact the utility providers to make sure that's taken care of, and tell them that the settlement did occur.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And I have, Caleb, your check and your check as well. I would be happy to turn them into Keller Williams for you. So that way the processing of your payment is a little bit quicker. And I can also scan a copy of the pre-settlement walkthrough that everyone signed, as well as the settlement sheet if you'd like. We normally send that to your TC as well as you after the closing. So I can take care of that for you as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That is it. It is official. If you would like to make sure that Angie has everything, you're all done. Congratulations.
Thank you. When does trash come by?
So you're going to want to put your trash out Wednesday night. They typically come Thursday.
Okay. And do they have recycling?
They do.
Okay. Same day or a different day?
Same day.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
Great. You made it to the finish line. Anybody have any last minute questions?
I don't think so.
I can think of.
Great. It was nice to meet everybody.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you
you.
so much.
Of course.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes our mock settlement. So I just wanted to say thank you for attending your settlement, but I hope this was helpful. I want to just introduce you to our cast. Jeremy was playing himself with A+ Mortgage. Angie, our buyer, is also the local loan officer that is inside the Keller Williams of South Central PA's office. So they are our preferred lenders with Keller Williams. Adrian, of course, you all probably recognize her from seeing her around the office, and played our buyer's agent. Caleb, as our front desk in the Enola office, and various sundry jobs, depending on the day. And then Ben Giles sat in as the seller. And then, of course, Amy, our superstar with the title company. So a couple things I just wanted to note that you might be wondering is, one is I think I definitely would recommend that you meet your clients at the door at whatever office you're going to be attending settlement. Sometimes you'll be in a title company like Original Abstract is. Sometimes you'll be in an attorney's office. So I recommend meeting them at the door and walking in the settlement room with them. Always, you have your buyers and your sellers sitting on either side of the title company's either agent or attorney, so that way they have easy access to signing. Sometimes there's couples, sometimes there's families of 5 with 3 children and maybe a dog in a crate. You just don't know. So you want to accommodate, but as a buyer's agent, you want to sit on the buyer's side, and on the seller's agent, you want to sit on the seller's side. Not all lenders show up at settlement. A+ Mortgage notoriously shows up at their settlement, and it is so nice to have them there. One, because they showed up means that we're all good to go. Number 2 is they can answer any questions. So if your buyer has questions or feels insecure about things, they can always ask questions after settlement with your lender. It's another good reason to choose the local preferred lender, because we know that we're going to have that service. It helps title, and it helps your client. And then lastly is some of those added benefits that Amy talked about, like your transaction coordinator getting your settlement sheet and your commissions process that happening quickly. Those things will happen when you use Original Abstract. Those won't happen when you're outside. So make sure that you get a copy before you leave the settlement of your transaction, of your Alta, the seller or buyer CD if they give those. Usually you don't do that though. The title agents sometimes don't give CDs out, just the Alta, pre-settlement walkthrough, and your commission check, of course. These are all good things to check ahead of time, so reach out to your title company to see if you can preview those items for your sellers and your buyers prior to settlement, so that way you can avoid last minute issues coming up. Anything else, team, that you think a new agent or a new to business or a new to Keller Williams agent might want to know? I feel like we did such a good job that there just aren't a lot. But if there are questions, Angie, Jeremy can answer any mortgage-related questions. Amy and I can answer any other questions. And then we have Adrian and Caleb that can answer every question. And then Ben, and thank you, Nate Neary, for doing our recording of this video. We thank you so much for joining us, and reach out to us with all questions. Bye-bye.